Zweli Mkhize, who last night I took a lot of people by surprise by declining that deputy president position and nomination. She's with him right now. Let's find out what was behind that decision and how he's feeling today.
Well, thank you, Leanne. Indeed, we are here at Nasrec trying to get reactions, but also to ensure that we cover the story extensively in terms of what has transpired thus far. We know yesterday the delegates did make their statement in terms of who must be in the ballot. Among those who was supposed to be in the ballot paper is the Treasurer General of the ANC, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, but he declined the nomination of being a deputy president. We are going to speak to the Treasurer General, Dr. Zweli Mkhize. Sawubona Khabazela.
Sanibona sawubona.
Uphilile Khabazela?
Ngiyaphila kakhulu, ngiyathemba nababukeli bayaphila.
Ngiyabonga Khabazela. Dr. Zweli Mkhize, yesterday the ANC members, because you always take a cue from the ANC members, took a decision that you must be on the ballot paper for the deputy president's position. You declined. Can you share with us the reasons?
Firstly, let me say I want to acknowledge all the support of all the branches and the members of the ANC who had nominated me. I really felt honored, and I also was up to dealing with this task, and I was ready to do it. But I must also say there are lots more other members after nominations would approach me and were willing to give us the support and were asking that I should continue to stand, and I'd agreed. I had signed the form and I'd agreed. In the process, you would have seen that this conference has got quite a lot of tension with a lot of contestation, and we've all been trying to find ways of how do we help to build unity in the organization. And in the process, I've been engaging with a number of comrades, and after engaging with a number of leaders in provinces and regions and leaders of delegations, I came to a point where I felt that more needs to be done to help the ANC to come together. And I made a point that this campaign, although I was campaigning in my name, but I was also campaigning for the unity of the ANC. And that unity would be, if I was elected, I would be available to help to build unity. And if I'm not elected, I would still want to work for unity. And in this case, after discussing with all the members and looking at some of the issues about gender, about unity, about the differences, I then offered that it would be, for me, if it would help to unify the ANC, I would step aside, because it's not about one person, Zweli. It's about the ANC overall unity. And so that's what the contribution one was making. So I engaged a number of these leaders to say, I will step aside, but can we then go out and pull comrades and see if we can still get some form of consensus or a way of an inclusive approach where you can have leaders from all groups being present, so that when the members emerge out of here, they must feel that each one has got a stake in the leadership elected, because a slate that will come out as it was before during the lobby time, it might be, a little bit more difficult to unite the ANC. It's better to have members coming from different strands or for groups being together, because that's what will pull all the members together. So that is what made me take the decision. But I do want to say to those who were feeling upset, disappointed, that it's part of making a contribution to build a stronger ANC, and the matter doesn't end here. After a conference, we'll need each other, and we still want to play a role there. I still want to be part of the National Executive Committee, so we'll continue to work for unity on the ANC. For us, unity is paramount. It's bigger than all individuals, and this is why I've said to the other comrades that I'm prepared to step aside. The ANC must grow and be stronger and be united.
TG, when I look at the mood inside there, when I look at the language, it reminds me of Polokwane. And after Polokwane, it looks like ANC didn't learn. Even in terms of the court cases, pre-conference, it looks like you didn't learn from Mangaung. When is the ANC going to learn?
Well, let me start with the personal level. When we went to Polokwane, I was not just there. I was actually the convener of the entire caucus. And I understood the tensions, the pain, the tearing apart that happened in the organization. So when I stood and said I would like us to focus on unity, and I did make a point that I was there myself, we cannot take this route again. So we are really going to continue persuading the members of the ANC that we need to find a way to unify the ANC. The route we took towards Polokwane, we should have learned not to take. And therefore, out of this year, we must take those lessons to help the ANC beyond conference to try and unify. I would still like to say we need each other. We need to work together. There is no such a situation where we will say that those others get out and that others must come in only. But what we need is to say, let's bring a broad consensus of leadership that's going to take the organization forward. The conference now is going to pronounce on who the leadership is. We must accept that leadership. But with the build-up of tensions before, we need to understand that we will be needing each other to try and build bridges across each other and help the comrades to understand that we have gone past the conference. Let's leave the issues of conference behind. Let's move on. Let's work on the strength of the ANC and deal with the weaknesses of the leadership, if they are, and strengthen them so that the ANC must be strong and continue to lead the country.
You can only self-correct if you are honest in terms of your diagnosis, in terms of the cause. What is the cause where we find the ANC in this state?
Well, to start off with, one never had any illusion that the conference will solve all the problems. I believe that's a journey. It's something that we have to take over a longer period. So the conference has to be the first start. Let's get a leadership now in place. Then let's get the leadership to institute a very strong sense of honest reflection. Then we must be able to deal with the weaknesses that we identify and act. So that when there are, problems of misconduct and discipline, we must act. When there are irregularities and manipulation of membership, we must correct. There are lots of branches that have got complaints right now that we need to go back there, even if the conference is over, to go and correct the way people have been excluded, the way people have had gatekeeping, the way some people are abusing the positions of authority to actually get control of the branch membership and therefore make people unable to freely express themselves. We must deal with all of those issues. These are the things that I believe, I'm ready to be part of the team that will correct them. I'm also ready to part with the lessons, and many of us were part of the Polokwane situation. We have to take this issue seriously, that the ANC cannot be allowed to break apart. And so one was making just that contribution, but going forward, we need everyone to understand it's no longer about persons, it's not about a group, it's not longer about factions, it's about the ANC. We cannot perish together when we can see that there are things to be corrected. And so I'm hoping that out of this conference we'll emerge stronger and united and move forward. But also I believe that even those who will not have, whose candidates would not have won, they will still accept that this is the ANC. We must try and move on and move forward with the leadership that would have been elected. The conference decisions are final and we must accept that leadership. With me, whether I'm part of the top 6 or not, I'm still going to be part of the ANC and we can still continue to make a contribution. You can only deal with 6 people there. So even those who have contested, not all of them are going to be into the top 6. Some are going to be part of the body of the National Executive Committee. We must take responsibility for the ANC to grow, to be united, to be stronger. And we must go out there and say to the comrades, when this conference rises, there should be no tears. There shouldn't be people who are feeling defeated. There mustn't be a situation where people feel that they are, they now must walk away from the organization. We mustn't have any of that. We must have a situation that says the ANC remains the ANC even if you did not vote for the leader who's leading you now. Let's move on.
And finally, how do you utilize the institutional memory that perhaps currently you are battling to bring back, because many after Polokwane, after Mangaung, the reality is people are not participating. They've got skills, they've got rich knowledge of politics. The former president Kgalema Motlanthe, the former president Mbeki, and many other ordinary, not only those high-profile leaders at branch level, ordinary ANC trial and tested cadres who were so disillusioned and who are so disillusioned currently because they believe ANC is kind of dying.
You see, now for me, this is when I think you need a consultative conference. This is where I think the ANC leadership should convene leaders of the ANC at various levels and leaders of the also of society, civil society, NGOs, churches, traditional leaders, labor, and then bring in those comrades who were activists in the past and pull them together with the current leadership. Comrades, we have arrived here. The conference is over. Here is the leadership. These are the decisions that we have taken. These are the mistakes that we have seen. We would like you to work with us to pull together the African National Congress, make your contribution, come back and be active on the ANC. This is the introspection that we have done. We want to take the ANC forward. Even those who may have felt that they needed to retreat and go back, they must come back. Even those who are unhappy because of certain decisions, we are now prepared to boldly take those decisions and move forward. We also want to make sure that the challenges that are faced by our branches, our communities, and the way that our members conduct themselves, where our communities are complaining, we must pull those together. This is what we need to be able to do. So I'm hoping that when this leadership is elected, we should then be able to say we move forward to find a way that will be embracing to everyone, to bring them back, to support the ANC and generate that confidence that people once had in the ANC. The ANC has got lots of support and still got a long way to go. We must therefore build on that. I believe that this is something that we can do.
Nyabong Kabazeli. The ANC Treasurer General, the outgoing Treasurer General, Dr. Zweli Mkhize. Over to you, Peter and Leanne.